Hello, I think. Let me check and see if this is actually recording. Can't really tell if it's recording or not. Yeah, it looks like it's recording. Okay. I'll go ahead and tell you guys now. I'm way behind on schedule. The last little Patreon Q&A thing I did had... How many views? 62 views, so not many views. Which actually could not please me more. So no need to worry about that. Let's get right into the questions this time as I continue working, which I should be doing. You can see on the timeline, I am 870 frames in. I have all this up to 5,200. I have all that left to do. So I'm already way behind. And what is this? Today's Thursday, November 20th. Oh, Lord. But as you can see, I'm doing a Two Best Friends play cover. I have kind of gotten myself into a little bit of trouble just because I put a little bit too much effort into certain things. Let me switch to a different render view. As you can see, I'm not using my old backgrounds anymore. I'm using actually painted stuff this time. I went into Photoshop and did these and then figured out how to import it into Toon Boom. And this is how the finished frames are going to end up looking. I have to use OpenGL view to work though, so that's why everything is going to look kind of blurry. But as I sit here coloring in these lewd images of mer people who are going to be doing who knows what with us later on, I will answer some questions if I can think of what I'm doing here in the meantime. I've got to paint this in. Okay. Okay, I should have everything. I think I know. I'm using pets. I think I'm using pets again for me to save on palette space. Yeah, okay. Alright. What's wrong with meat consumption? That's by Nick B. Nothing at all. I live on meat. Meat is good for you. I am not much of a anything else eater. Like, I eat primarily meat, and that's it. Don't ask me where it comes from. It's better you don't know. But primarily meat. And meat is the best of all. You need a lot of meat to keep up your gains. Not that I have any, but, you know, in theory. And I think that's the only question directly from the video. Just other comments. You have 618 patrons, Eli. Tattoo that number into your soul. If I did, it would be wrong because I think I have... Oh, I actually do still have 618. Well, fuck me then. Let's see. Cousin Eco. Hey, Plague, just a thought. How about hosting a random game of D&D on Roll20 with a few fans? You know. No. I actually don't have much of a background in tabletop gaming. You would think otherwise, considering my history with TG. But no, actually, since concerning the area that I live in, it should go without saying that I have not been able to find many people that are actually interested in such things. So, whenever I was young enough to be able to do things like that, to try to actively engage a role-playing, which is, you know, kind of interesting, it's a fun idea. Then, you know, I'd never found anyone, so I couldn't do it. And, of course, now there's no possible way that I would have time to do it. Actually, if you've ever had to lay out a D&D... we have tried a few times. I tried to do this a few times with the IRC people. Didn't quite work out. It's really involved. If you've ever tried to do it, you realize very quickly just how convoluted setting something like that up is. It's not as easy as just sitting down and then starting to roleplay. You have to get everything sorted as far as your universe and details and things like that. The dungeon master, so to speak, has to do the most work, of course. But just trying to figure out the rules, what you can do, how attacks and things work within the confines of whatever system you happen to be using. You know, I can't even remember what we were... I think we were trying to run a 40k, whatever their system is called. It's not GURPS or anything like that. But whatever that was, I think that's what we were trying to run at the time. But eventually we kind of, I think the idea just kind of pittered out on its own. Okay, what else we got? Oh, another long one. What is this? Okay, I think I actually can say something like this. Hello, Plague, but when I was wee Bern, I saw an advert on TV for the Magnum Monster. Manga, excuse me, I always called it Magna. God, I can't stand that about myself. Did I fuck this up? Yeah, excellent. Damn it. Stop rearranging this. That's what I hate Toon Boom's palette space. It drives me fucking crazy. I'll just read this. It seemed interesting at the time, but I promptly forgot about it when Pat recently took up watching the anime adaptation and stated that it dives into hardcore Nietzschean themes about nihility of existence, and instead I took to probably burned into their guys, yes, life story, which led to me realizing the thing that interests me the most about Christ and fiction. Don't write long questions. Do you have any, here we go. Do you have any preferences for themes in fictional works? Which themes interest you the most? Which caused the strongest emotional reaction in you when executed well? Good question. Not really. I don't need your life story to create a question, guys. Not calling you out or anything. Yeah, just minimalism. I guess as far as themes go, I always enjoy things that treat human beings as being sort of shitty. Not inherently evil, but just inherently dominated by our basic instincts. You know, we do things because we are trying to survive. We do things because we are... Let's see, how should it... I really like things like The Godfather Part 2, or The Thing, or... I'm not gonna go through and name off every single thing, but, just... I'll put it to you this way. Whenever I wrote my novel that I never got published, that I never tried to really... Well, I tried and failed. But whenever I wrote that, that was about the need for community, the need for having the resources to rise up the ranks of society. It was about poverty, and it was about the inescapable horror of living in life and trying to how to describe this, how to just cope with being alive, and how to keep from feeling completely isolated at all times. I really like the theme of isolation in games, whether it's about horror, whether it's about just living. I really like that. Because it's probably because throughout most of my entire life, I've been alone in many different ways. Romantically, of course, blah, blah, blah. I was raised out, in the country, so naturally I did not have many friends. And I was already sort of an inward person to begin with. By the way, I don't mind this about myself. It's not one of those, oh, poor plate. No, I seriously prefer this, so don't worry about it. But, yeah, isolation, just people trying to find themselves, I guess. Trying to figure out how to just cope with being alive, and things that sort of involve nebulous ideas on... just sensory things that are emotive. It doesn't have to be necessarily about any one theme, but just things that are about people feeling things about the world and about themselves, and they can't quite figure out what the problem is with themselves or with the world. And then realizing just how complicated everything is, and that they really can't do anything about it, I guess. That's what I enjoy seeing in movies. Which sounds depressing to some, but to me, it's kind of exciting in a way. It's pretty fun. What color palette did I use on the prior one? Give me regular brush. Guys, think about further. Used, I think that's pen coat 1. Should be okay. You can see the way they lay out all my primary information. Since I have to do these in like the span of 1 month, or I'm not going to make it. I really don't think that I'm going to make it this time. Which means I'm probably going to have to do some sort of art video or something in the meantime to make up for this month. I really wanted to get this done, but a bunch of stuff came up because I was dealing with technical issues with this new microphone, or the old microphone, I should say, which apparently I sent back and they said, no, there's nothing wrong with it, even though I know that there's something wrong with it, because it has no gain. But I ended up having to deal with a lot of that for many, many days, just full days of technical support for the first of the month, plus some other stuff to do with actual money in real life, and just all sorts of shit was going on. So that's the reason why this is probably not going to be on time. Which irritates me because I really wanted to... Because, one, it concerns me about the future. If I have to do one animation every month in the future, then this is not going to work. Damn it. I hate hitting these little shortcuts on my keyboard that make me... I need to turn all those off on Toon Boom. One day, but not today. But that's the reason why this is probably going to be late. I was trying to explain that for the sake of something else, but I can't even remember what I was talking about now. So, it's probably something to do with how exactly I phrase, or what I like in themes. But that's it about themes. I like that about things in general. Just struggling with everyday life issues. I don't like slice of life. Slice of life kind of just pisses me off. Because most people's slice of life is really fucking boring. Like, you know, oh, I like this TV show, and, you know, gotta get to the thing, gotta ride my bicycle with bread in my mouth, you know, just stupid horseshit like that. I don't care. Nothing about that is interesting to me. But whenever it's things that actually matter, like things that are just deeply rooted in everyone's soul, and just bothers the shit out of people, and they can't quite wrap their heads around it, and it's just this really nebulous, weird concept to them. These things, very high thought things that everyone goes through in everyday life, but you don't hear many people actually address because it's just so damn complicated. I like things like that. That's my favorite thing. Now where the hell... Damn it. Come on, where's the palette space? I use blue. Okay. And it looks like that I actually use the trim. You have to keep your color palettes consistent. Because, and I just, yeah, the beard, okay. No, it couldn't have been the palette trim. What should I use? I'm gonna have to go back and unlock this, which was scene number 4. You can see how fucking complicated this is. Oh, I had that unlocked. Guess head, it'd probably be this one. Where's my eyedropper? And that was trim? Was trim number 1? And which... Oh, it's just not picking it up. It's not working correctly. How wonderful. In that case, damn it, come on. Unlock. Maybe that's why it wasn't. Okay, it was. No, it wasn't. Okay, for God's sake. Oh, it's using a different palette palette space entirely. That's not good. Damn it, why isn't it picking up trim 1 then? Oh, now it did. Then what the hell is it? Number 1? Oh, it was the coat. But I'm already using the coat. Maybe, okay, it's just because I was using the lighter source. Because I didn't go deep on the shading on this one. Okay. Oh, Lord. Sorry about that, guys, but this is just how working is. Okay, just put that down while I'm thinking about it. Then, okay, yeah, that does look a bit more natural. And we're gonna try to do this as quickly as possible. I shouldn't be taking so much time doing this, but this is just how I am. It's one of the reasons why I've been taking... It's not as though I haven't been working on it, but... you know, just shit comes up, plus I spend too much time trying to... You know, plus trying this new thing of using PSDs instead of just going with Toon Boom drawn backgrounds has really made it look better to me in motion. Actually, I guess I'll show you guys that. Since I just got through wasting your time. Let's... No. Let's try that. No, actually, let's just go back to the beginning. Try this.
With this huge face! Sega bass fishing bullshit.
This fish is too big.
So you.
Okay, so you can see like shit moving around the background. This is just Photoshop made fog that I'm rendering over in the background. Later on, I kind of figured out, oh, I can do this in the foreground too. Because it actually keeps opacity, it keeps alpha. So in the later ones, yeah, that one's an example. Yeah, this one's like
Sex thing.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Ah, the
Not the creepy sex thing.
Not that.
Okay, you get the idea. But that's what I've been doing. Why did I even bring that up? I was doing something, but I can't remember what the hell it was now. Because I was sitting here thinking about palettes. Anyways, that's what I've been up to. Let's go on to some more questions since I've already ruined this video. Good thing only like 60 people watched this. Thank God for that. Hello, Elizabeth. Let's try this again. Elizabeth Mukherjee. Is that it? Probably not. I don't know. But once again, you get another question. She actually did. Mukherjee. Mu is a short sound. Mu? I don't know. I'm not a language person. Don't blame me, Elizabeth. Why do you have a name of Elizabeth whenever you have the last name that's so crazy? Then again, I have a crazy last name too, so what am I saying? It'd be nice just to be named Smith, wouldn't it? Now, fuck that. Smiths suck. If you have a last name of Smith, you should be ashamed of yourself. But Plague, I'm named Smith. Well, too fucking bad. Change your name legally. You know better than that. You've talked a lot about games, writing, and movies, but what sort of music do you like? And how do you go about the music and ambience and your animations which such things are needed? Music. I like all sorts of music. God damn it, what did I use for his fucking... Ugh. Oh, I haven't done anything with his pants yet. Okay, so that's free reign. I have free reign over my own pants. Thank goodness. Do I want to use... Maybe I'll just use blue. How much more blue are we going to have? I'll probably have to make some additional palettes for... palette colors for these guys. Let's just run with blue for now. Okay, music. I like all sorts of music. It just depends. Usually whenever I'm doing this, I'm either watching... or... I have Star Trek playing in the background. That's what I was doing before this. Just Star Trek reruns is usually what I'm doing. But I also will listen to music, although sometimes that can be a little bit too distracting. And usually then, I have a lot of classical music that kind of just is in the background most of the time. Let's try to avoid this seam, see how that looks. Ah, damn it. Yeah, okay, that looks okay. And classical music. I have a lot of classical music, which I just kind of use as background noise, because classical music is fairly innocuous that way. So I have a lot of things like Franz Liszt, which actually can't stand Franz Liszt. I don't know why you have so much of him. And of course Mozart and Beethoven and things like that. A bunch of things I pulled down off the internet. And a lot of the times that makes for good background things, so I don't have to look over and keep changing tracks all the time, because then that gets really distracting. I'm not going to be able to use... Why is that not closed? Is this not closed off? No, it's not closed off. Right there. Okay. I'm going to have to use another thing for this anyways, because that does not look good. Maybe I can use an existing brown? Maybe I can use an existing brown and that'll look okay. And something like this. That way it kind of hints at it being more complicated than it actually is. It's a little bit too dark, though. Coat number 1. No, that doesn't look natural. Maybe trim. That doesn't look as bad. Yeah, I'll go with this. That'll work. I can actually create way more of these, but I just don't like the clutter. It drives me crazy. The palette space... It's one of the things I don't like about Toon Boom that I really wish that they would improve, is I wish they had folders. Because whenever you make a new one, it just makes a new one. There's no... You can add textures, you can, there's no option for it. It'd be nice if you could make folders, that way if, say, I can make all the colors for me, and then I would just drag them into the folder, and whenever I needed it, I would just click open the folder and use it. But you can't do that. Everything's just cluttered together, so that's the reason why I try to make sure that everything is kind of set to a few things. Like I try to have at most 3 skin tones, or like a 1 and a 2 for 3 different ones. That way it looks a little bit diverse. I don't want everyone to have the same exact skin tone, of course. Like, say, for instance, I'm going to give her... I think she was... Yeah, she's blonde, so she had the lighter... She had the lighter colored one. And right there. Okay. And I think I used yellow 1, and I think I used yellow 2 for her. And that should be okay. But that's why I do that. I can't remember what the hell I was talking... I was talking about music, and I somehow strayed over... Oh yeah, because I was doing this. But anyways, which one did I use? Trim 1? Yes, trim 1. Okay. Yeah, I listen to a lot of classical music. There's usually like a set number of things that I kind of listen to all the time. I listen to a lot of Tupac. I went from classical music into Tupac, but yeah. Listen to a lot of Tupac. I like to shift around and to actually listen to a lot of rap now that I'm thinking about it. And other than that, I like listening to things like George Strait. Dark Souls music, I kind of like listening to that as well. The nice thing about those is that anything that doesn't have lyrics for some reason sits with me pretty well, because then it becomes background noise and I don't have to think about it too much. How am I going to do this? Let's start with a basic shadow. And then, I really hate doing things like this, because you have to get kind of clever with how the shadows work. Because if it does not look right, it doesn't look right. Although most people aren't even going to be looking at this. Ah, damn it, I didn't close something off. Where is it? Come on, where is it? What did not close off correctly? Right here, probably. Damn it, now. Maybe is it this? Yes, okay, it was that. Ah, this is what I hate about working in Vector. Actually, there's a lot of things I hate about working in Vector. That's just one of many. But yeah, I listen to a lot of that. I like listening to George Strait. Used to listen to a lot of the Eagles, but it got to where I had heard their songs so much that I'd just gotten tired of them. Back in high school, I probably would have said that the Eagles were my favorite band. Need my shadow. And it's not that I love them so much. I don't really like bands so much as I like individual songs. It's just that the Eagles probably have the most things that I can find myself listening to. It's not like I just crave the Eagles or something. Really don't give too much of a shit about them anyways. What's his name? Not Henley, the other one. But the guy that's like hyper political gets on my nerves. Because he gets really up in your face about it. And their latest, I don't think it's their latest. Maybe it was. But the one that whenever they finally got back together in the early 2000s, I think it was, they released a new album with a bunch of new music. And they were trying to they were trying to go with a Hotel California theme with this Long Road Out of Eden song. But it is so fucking political. It's like so anti-George Bush, just so fucking cliche. Like, I'm a rich person that lives in a mansion now. I have opinions about politics. I don't like war. Like, yes, I get it. And I'm not even a big political person. I don't give a shit about all that. But, it irritates me just how... Anytime that it doesn't even matter if I agree with them or not, just how in-your-face people get about things like that. So, yeah, this is one of those. I really liked, what was the one I liked about from that one? No More Walks in the Woods? Was that it? I can't remember off the top of my head. And I'm not going to go to Winamp to try to figure it out right now. But yeah, anyways, that's the kind of music I listen to. What was the other part of that question? How do I go about the music and ambience in my animations when such things are needed? I try to keep it subdued enough that it blends in. I used to do it because, YouTube would pick up on it and start going, you can use it. Yeah. That's how YouTube sounds. And I would try to minimize it and try to blend it in with other sounds so that it didn't get flagged whenever I absolutely had to use it for a joke. But these days, I guess it wouldn't really matter, because even if the video gets flagged, I don't monetize anything on YouTube anymore. Thank goodness. Thank you so much, Patreon. Thank you. So I don't have to worry about that anymore. But, you know, it just... Like right now, there's Resident Evil music in this one. So I just tried to make sure that it is not too loud. I actually consider sound to be more important than... That's the big thing in any sort of, like, cinema, is there's always a battle between sound effects and music. And I actually consider music usually to be more important in cinema, because to me that says more than dialogue does most of the time, because it's creating thoughts in the viewer. That way you don't actually have to create those on your own. As long as the music is doing its job, you don't have to really have much of anything else. But in, say, like a horror game, for example, I would say that it is actually more important to have good sound effects. Of course, sound completely dominates horror. If you don't have good sound in horror, then you're just not going to have a good horror game. That's the end of it. Let's see. Let's just go on to another question while I'm thinking about my palettes. Because I'm playing animations. Another long question. Why do you guys all write long questions? I can't read these. In regards to games with feints and parries, I'm guessing you tried Chivalry. The game's combat was great and being frantic but nuanced. The thing I didn't like about Chivalry is that it was too fast. It had the video game problem of... I think I've mentioned this in some video or another. That in video games, you actually don't run at a normal speed. Like, a normal person in real life is probably going to jog around at, like, 5 to 6 or whatever, 7, I don't know, miles per hour, something like that. And in running, I don't know what the world record is, but we're not cheetahs. We don't run at 50 kph or something like that. Actually, cheetahs run faster than that, I think. Yeah, they do. What the fuck am I saying? Of course I know that. But in video games... damn it. That's not closed off too. Oh, yeah, I never created scenes for this one. I need to link you. Is that... Oh, actually, got lucky. Okay. But in video games, they actually increase the speed by a huge margin. Like, people actually, in video games, even if it's... It doesn't even have to be something like Unreal Tournament, which is probably the biggest sinner in this whole thing. What the hell is this? Must have been an artifact. Oh, for God's sake, come on, stop. Where did I get all those from? I think I edited the lines on this hair too much. I was being too meticulous with this. But, damn it, I lost my train of thought again because I'm... Shimmery... How did I get on... I was talking about pairing or something. Oh, people go too fast. Yeah, in video games, people walk at something like 20 kph or something. Just walking around. And in Chivalry, it's very noticeable. It's supposed to be a game that is catering to realism, to sword and boardism, people that like that sort of thing. But it's just too fucking fast, because it's a video game. It's so video gamey. Like, if you've ever watched the combat, it's not people, like, standing there trying to exchange feints and parries and things. It's people strafing like crazy. Just back and forth, like a crack-addicted cheetah. Just all over the place. And that's what gets on my nerves about Chivalry. It's not quite as strategic as I would want it to be. And in a sort of board game, that's what I'm looking for. I'm not necessarily looking just for the fact that you can parry someone in a realistic way, or feint, or things like that. I consider those to be prerequisites. After that, you can start fucking up. And for Chivalry, that's how it fucked up for me. Just the fact that you move too goddamn fast. It is so fast that the whole concept of doing parries and things just it's ruined for me. Because more so than the mechanics, one of the reasons why I play games like that is for the realism. I want to feel like I'm in that world. I want to actually feel like I'm a guy in armor and I'm fighting someone, you know, trying to kill them, and they're trying to kill me in the most brutal and, you know, lumbering and overly realistic way possible. Something that actually feels like I am in armor fighting for my life. And Chivalry doesn't do that because too fast. But what... I got on tension about Chivalry. Damn it, lost my place. When you develop a concept for something, be it writing, drawing, animation, etc., is there a central point you focus on? Or is there some form of higher general design to it all? Like, do you get a focal point and go, okay, I'm gonna stop rambling. Stop rambling. That's my job. Yes, it depends. It just depends. If, say, like I was doing this drawing. I can close these off either. Let's say that I was doing this drawing, and let's just go ahead and turn these off for the moment. And I did my primary image here. Obviously, this one is more of an open composition. You aren't focusing on any one thing. But I want it to read left to right or right to left. I want there to be enough visual information. So I try to make sure that if there's something interesting up here, there's also something interesting over here. And notice that there's a lot of open area in here. Nothing is really going on. It's not negative space, but it's not something that you're really reading visually. Instead, you go this way. And eventually I'm going to have my little hornet thing, because that's part of the animation, going across that way. So I need to have enough negative space up here, which I'll probably end up having to push these guys down. I'll probably actually swing this up, or swing this down, and swing the landscape just barely up. That way I can get more space to make that more obvious. But let's see, make a comparison to that. And this one, they're going to be looking out over this, the composition. I tried to make sure everything is weighted here, but there's also, like here, there's a bunch of negative space, nothing really important is going on there, but there is still that. And let's say that I was doing like a body concept. I don't think I have anything like that. But let's just say that I was like doing a body concept. If it's some woman wagging her ass at the screen or something, then I would want to make sure that that ass is filling the whole goddamn screen. Or if it's a guy that was like flexing his arm or something, I would want to draw it in such a way that it is focusing on the arm. So I'd probably I'll just do I'm not drawing, but then I would want, say, him flexing, like, here's the forearm, and then it goes over to kind of this part, the skeleton for the bicep area, raise it up here, and have that be primarily the focus. And then once I have that done, just say, this is what I want to be what the person is looking at primarily. This is a question more for an art gripe, to be honest. Then I would then just flesh out everything else. Like, here would be the torso, and then I would do a head, and so on like that. And that's just how you do it. You pick the thing that is most important about your composition, and then you work everything around that. Not to that it's a give and take, not to the detriment of the whole, but that's just how you do it. Okay, let's try to get a few more questions. There actually was barely any questions this time around, but I've been taking so long that do you like any particular book series? Not really. Actually, I haven't read much of anything in a long time, just because I've just not had the time anymore. But I did recently, since I realized, hey, maybe I do have the time, and I have the money now. I bought a shit ton of books about, actually, I'll go pick them up. Come over here, books. Yes, sir, Mr. Plague. Let's see, what do we have here? I have The Book of the Sword, A History of Daggers, Sabers, and Scimitars by French Richard Burton. And George Cameron Stone, A Glossary of the Construction, Decoration, and Use of Arms and Armor. You can see where this is going. This is an encyclopedia, by the way, and it is huge. There's also Arms and Weapons by... Actually, it doesn't actually say the original author. It says edited by Leonid or something, and Claude Blair. This is actually originally an Italian book that was translated over into English in the 1980s. I think 87, actually. Arms and Armor. I haven't gone through all these because I just got them in yesterday. Eyewitness books. It doesn't say the author on the front of this one. And Swords and Sabers. So I'm just going through because I really like actual weapons. Whenever you hear me complaining in Dark Souls about things looking like fantasy garbage, it's because I love actual designed weapons. I fucking love it. My favorite kind of weapon is a warhammer, by the way. But if I've been reading anything, it's something like that. I don't really read much fiction anymore because usually the thing about fiction is that... Oh yeah, I turned it off, no wonder. Is that whenever I'm reading it, usually I'm thinking, I could write this better. Because most of the time, things... Like, I don't read, like, shit like, or I didn't. Whenever I had the time for it. I didn't really read much things like, Grisham or King or things like that. I would trend more towards, like, C.S. Lewis, for example. Really liked C.S. Lewis back in the day. And, anything that's sort of fantasy like that without actually being high fantasy. Because I despise shit like elves and dragons and dwarves. I know Tolkien, assembled all that from, other cultures and whatnot, but I'm so sick of that. I hate that so much. Do not talk to me about elves and dwarves. I will find a place in your body and I will perform acts upon it or poop in it or something. I don't know. Maybe I'll kiss it. I don't know. But just don't talk to me about it. Despise Tolkienism. And most of the time, whenever writers are doing that, they're trying to make a buck. So they're really encouraged by their publishers. I had to deal with a little bit of this myself, actually. To, just go that way. Her hair looks pretty good now. Yeah. Oop, forgot about you down here. Can't forget you, boob hair. I always loved convenient hair just falling just... Oh, can't see the nipple. That means it's not pornographic. Oh, I beat the system. But that's the reason why I don't really write, is because publishers force authors a lot of the time to stray into that territory. And usually I can't stand reading it. Because a lot of writing is just so dry. There's not many good authors. That's not anymore. There's not going. I mean, just in general, writing is really hard, and too many writers make very common mistakes, which I won't go into because I'll be here all day. But let's go on to the next question. Hello, Kaza again. I could see Plague as a GM. You can smell of sweaty duck sex in the air. I don't keep ducks around me. I hate them. Why would I keep them? They always pair me with the ducks, but I actually despise them. Don't get them around me. I've had fantasies about punching a duck or a goose in the face, though. Not really maliciously, it's just one of those weird things like punching a horse in the face. It's just kind of funny. It makes you wonder how they would respond to it. I think whenever I was little, I actually did punch a sheep in the face once. Because he headbutted me in the back. Because sheep are real assholes like that. And he actually turned around and was like, "What? It wasn't me." Because sheep are so dumb that he actually thought that. Like he was going to get away with it. So of course I punched him in the face and he was like, "What?" Because he didn't understand the concept of punching because he has dumb little sheep hooves. And they can't do that because humans are awesome. In comparison, and he were actually pretty shitty. What was I doing? Oh, okay. Let's see. Tyvrid Kazuna, who has, I don't know if that's one word. Put a space between your name, guy. It makes me confused. Didn't mean to give you an instrument over against wasn't the elephants because of hybrid guys. I totally get using a universe to drive creative content. I do quite a bit of work in one I've constructed for the last couple decades, then I hit block sometimes. Here's a different question. As a writer, were there ever tropes or significant narrative elements you found yourself developing and having reoccur in your own work? Do you ever observe that being implemented by others in after reading your pieces? As I said earlier, I was trying... I think I used Matt Skinner for her. Whenever I was writing, I already explained what exactly I wrote about. You know, the themes of isolation and poverty and rising above things like that through the help of others and being unable to accomplish things on your own, and the evils of people accumulating wealth and then forgetting that they got to that point, which is kind of funny now that the Patreon took off, and then forgetting that the reason that they managed to accumulate that wealth is through no real feat of their own. That most of the reason why people have success is either through random chance or a combination of actual hard work along with things like marketing or just complicated factors. I'll say it that way. And just people end up creating that as part of their own identity, that I did this, you know. And that's kind of what my villains were like in that book, or all my things really that are sort of social commentaries anyways. That they were always sort of rich dickheads that wanted to control everything because they thought that they knew better than everyone else. Which is, you know, that's what I like to make my villains, I guess. I don't know. I need to carry that up over. That looks unusual. Make sure that's united properly. That looks better. Nothing about this is sexual to me, by the way. I'm, like, shading these breasts, but I'm like, yeah, the light needs to... And I'm just thinking about things like that. Make sure it comes down. Try to do this faster than I'm doing it now. This video is already... Oh, damn it. What did I miss? I didn't miss anything. Why is it doing... Oh, here it is. It's always something. Okay. Anyways. But yeah, if I ever go back to my old writing, it's way too far over. I need to close this down some. Oh, damn it, it's doing... Sometimes, for some reason, sometimes it will link all my lines together, and I have not figured out why it does this. Like, I'm just trying to select this one line, it selects everything. Whereas if I try to select this one, it selects just that one. Try to select anything else, selects everything. I don't know. That's not a feature, it's just some weird bug with it. Oh well, I guess her shoulders looked a little bit too big, but that's kind of correct. Her neck would come down here, and close off the shoulder. It really should be about right here. But I moved this over because I didn't want this strand of hair obscuring this. So that's why that's a little bit too far out. Which most people are not going to notice that, but it bugs me. It actually needs to be hair as well. I'm going to have to make I can't get away with just reusing yellow, and I can probably reuse blue for some of the hair, actually, but I need to make one more color eventually. No, damn it. Where's Matt Skin? Anyways, yeah, whenever I go back over my old writing, usually I would go back over it and say, oh, this is awful. I have no idea what I was even trying to say in this part. Which is still true sometimes. But, usually it's pretty obvious to me, because the thing about writing is that you don't really start writing well until you're in your mid-20s. And this is like, it's not really my opinion. This is, if you read online, usually you'll find this opinion from other authors as well. That usually in your 20s, you don't really know yourself. And of course, whenever you're writing, as I've said in my Let's Gripe About Writing thing, that if you're not learning, then you're not writing correctly. And writers usually are writing for the sole purpose of trying to explore an idea that they themselves don't quite understand yet. So, whenever you kind of hit your mid-20s, you finally sort of settle on a lot of things, like what you believe and how you perceive the world and how you expect people to interact with one another, and you have a lot more experiences and so on. So, whenever you kind of get old enough, you start writing a little bit better, in the sense that everything is more cohesive, you have experience, you know what your objective in writing is and what your theme is going to be and so on. So everything is a little bit more clear in that respect. Did I close this? Yes. Okay. And let's do a strand of... It's not quite. And that'll look okay. And pull it over here. Got to concentrate on this one. Okay. But yeah, whatever I just said, I just lost my train of thought. But whatever I said, I'm correct. Oh, about writing. Yeah, whenever you hit your kind of 30s especially, then things are a bit more clear. So whenever I go back and read the things that I wrote whenever I was 28 or whatever it was, then yeah, I can pick up on that pretty easily now. Okay. Thanks for my question. I'm going to which of your animations would be my favorite and not so best ones? Not so best ones are obviously going to be ones early on. I don't really have a favorite, I guess. I can't even really think about them. What have I done? I don't even remember now. I think probably the one that people seem to bring up the most is a Huge Quest, just because it's me and no one else. Like this is just... Like, everything that I've done has been some sort of parody of some kind. Except for Huge Quest, which even then is sort of a parody, but it's based on things, but it uses its own resources, I guess. So I would say probably that, maybe? It's been forever since I've actually seen it, and it's not obviously not the most technically proficient of animations by any stretch of the imagination. Shadow right there. I'm going to have to... What if I can get her... No, that's going to make her look a bit too much. Okay, yeah. Do that. Because the reason why I'm doing this is I can't create real gradients with my line work in Toon Boom, so I have to rely on things like that to make maybe a little bit like... Yeah, okay. To do where the actual edges of the... Like... If you're making a Photoshop stroke, it would be black, and then you would ease up a little bit, and then it would become more kind of grayish until it fades out completely. If you're doing like a stroke like this, I guess. So in Toon Boom, I'd kind of just have to use that shading, the extra little shading to get away with it. Actually, let's pull this down a little bit. I think... No, stop that. How come that doesn't close off? Oh, for God's sake. It's always one pixel off. Why do I always do that? Anyways. And also, what is my favorite book? I don't know. I don't really have favorites of things. I just kind of take things as they are, I guess. I don't know. Whenever I was younger, I might have said Out of the Silent Planet by C.S. Lewis, but that was a long time ago, back whenever I was young enough to actually have favorites. Now, I don't know. I don't really have one anymore. There's things I enjoy, like movies, for example. I don't have a favorite movie. I would say that The Thing would be my favorite movie, I guess. Although I don't watch it all the time. And I definitely wouldn't say that it's the most well-made movie. It's actually a terrible movie in many ways. What color did I use for her eyes? I think it was blue, actually. Oh, I have to go check. Anyways, yeah, nothing special like that. I'm going to have to go back over this and apply like a post, not a filter, a post effect to have water splashing up on this one. Actually, looks a bit more like purple. Really, when did I make purple? Huh? I think it was just for that actually. She looks a lot better in this one because in that one I would think I was in a bad mood and I was trying to rush around. Okay. But anyways, to end this question, I should be wrapping this up. This is going to take forever to upload. But since this is only a Q&A, I only have to upload in a shitty quality. Haha, I don't have to worry too much about it. Side note, the whole answer thing in regards to Dark Souls and how it relates to daily life is pretty good interpretation that daily life is really how it should be. I have no idea what you're talking about because I can't remember what I said. But that's all the questions for this time. I can finally close that out. Oh yeah, that's right. I had a couple of Tumblr questions. How long will it be between Dark Souls LP installments? quite a while because I'm obviously trying to focus on this. I don't have time to assemble a new one. It probably won't be until I'm done with this. Although I might try to release one more, just because I'm sure that people are furious that I uploaded the first one and have not done anything since. Although I did that one mainly just to make sure that I had something on the channel. Because retention, even for me, even though I have Patreon now, I don't really have to worry too much about such things. Retention is still very important in this sort of business. Gray one, yeah, okay. Gray one. Okay, that looks good. And I think I'll go back over it with a little bit of highlight. Like this. Little eye doodads, whatever those are actually called, the eye glare. Looks a little bit better at... This is how it will be viewed, except these bars will be gone as well. You don't draw things like this. I know people will see like this and complain on, like people that don't know anything about animating or drawing. And they'll see things that are off canvas sometimes and complain, oh, it looks like shit. Of course it looks like shit. You're not supposed to see it. It actually looks like this in the final product. Where the frame just goes over here. Anyways. And there's one more thing I wanted to address. Given the money coming in from your Patreon, do you see a chance to self-publish your written works in the future? No. It's not a matter of money, it's a matter of time. I just don't have the time for it. Or have you effectively cut off that path in favor of your animations? If I ever have the time to go back over and do something, I will try. But for the time being, I would say that there's probably no chance of me publishing. Just because I have to focus on things like this, and I should be moving faster right now, for example. Because I am not going to make release for this month. Oh well. But anyways, yeah, it's a time thing. I would really love to release that, but since I don't want to release something that's not finished, which you can see with the Dark Souls complaints. People want it now. But I can't release it now because I have other things I need to be doing. That's why I said it was probably the worst idea that I've ever had. It's not because the quality would not be good. It's because the amount of time that I have to put into the project would not be good. This goes behind his... Okay, that's good. So, with any sort of writing as well, I just don't have the time. And I'm not going to release what I had done at the time because it was never finished. And I wouldn't have the time to finish it. And people would be very upset if they read it and then went back and then whenever I finally, or if I released it all at once or if I released it in little bitty chunks, if I got to the end and it wasn't done, then what would people do? And I wouldn't want people to have to deal with that. So it's sort of an all or nothing thing with writing. But anyways, that's kind of my stance on it. I mean, you can complain about that if you want, but I'm sure people, if I actually asked you guys what your opinion on that was, like if you would want me to release it unfinished, you would probably say yes, or most of you would probably say yes. But then if I actually did, and I released it, then you would say, oh, I kind of regret that now, I wish that you hadn't done that. Because Papa Plague knows best, I guess. Anyways, that's it for this shitty Q&A. Hope you guys enjoyed it, even though this is awful. Because I'm obviously working and not really paying attention to all this other shit going on. Because I get so caught up in my own work that I actually should not have. Let's do it under. Actually, let's turn that back on and go back under. A little bitty fold right there. That looks a little bit better. Look more natural anyways. Close that off a little bit. Actually, further up. Right there. Okay. Alright, that looks good. Okay, that's enough boob drawing for one day. Hope you guys enjoyed this or something or other. And I will try to have this out. If an art gripe shows up instead this month, I wouldn't be surprised, guys. I really don't like the idea, because I did the Trifusion last month. I could have easily stretched that out over like 2 months, but I didn't really want to do that. It's kind of the same thing with this. Oh, by the way, notice I drew a hot guy. Or I've tried to, anyways. Objectivity, he may or may not be hot in your opinion, I have no idea. But I've been trying to figure out more ways of incorporating men into these things, and like the case of this, the joke doesn't really work if it's a bunch of guys. it kind of has to be ladies in the context of it being me and Matt and Pat's, because I am attracted to the boob gender, the one that we have that has those. I like those. Am I a boob or ass guy? Actually, neither. I don't really care either way. As long as the proportions are right. That's what's important. It's important to have good proportions. That's what's important. Anyways, enough rambling about boobs and butts. Instead, let's just go ahead and end this, I guess. Because it's been like 50 minutes. Alright, bye.